Hey, welcome back. This is Steve Goodner, and this is Emotionally Intelligent Living Straight Talk with Steve. I've really come to the conclusion over all of 2025 that probably one of the most important things any of us can do is create the right mindset. It's just in our world today with all the distractions and the noise and everything coming at us, if we don't intentionally design our own mindset, then we're just at the whim of whatever hits us at whatever time. And it's going to be difficult without an intentionally designed mindset. It's going to be difficult to focus. It's going to be difficult to use our higher cognitive functions. We're going to get stuck in emotional cycles. There's going to be a lot of different things that pull away from our ability to really operate at the level that we want to achieve what we want to achieve. And let me dive into mindset, and I'll remind you, these are unscripted. So I may jump around a little bit, but I want to share a few things that I think are so critical in doing that intentional design when it comes to our mindsets. Why is that important? Well, the way we face our challenges and setbacks and the way that we approach opportunities depends very much on our mindsets. So much of what we do in this world, especially when it's dealing with other people, whether it's relationships that are personal or professional, we might be a leader, we might be in sales, we might be a team member, but mindset makes up the foundation and the filter of the way that we will experience things and then what we will do with those things that we experience. Knowing that our brains process emotionally first before we process logically, it really makes a difference if we have the right mindset in place, because we don't want to get derailed by emotions that drag us in a direction we don't want to go or keep us held back. What we want to do is we want to create this mindset that allows us to overcome the challenges, to rebound from the setbacks, and to take advantage of opportunities with speed and efficiency. And I think the whole mindset conversation starts with a really high level. What is a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset? Well, most of us know what that is, but have you seen it at work? Have you seen it out in the world? The fixed mindset is somebody who has one way of doing things and they think it's the only right way to do things. And they get very upset if others don't do it their way or listen to their needs. I mean, there's a constant kind of complaining and a constant desire for them to be right and for their way to be the way. But there's also a lack of options, a lack of alternatives. There's a lack of consequential thinking in the fixed mindset. What does that do to you? Well, basically, it means if your way isn't working, you're just going to be frustrated and upset. However, the growth mindset is where we really understand how important it is to take in other people's perspectives, to learn new skills, to try new things, to really prepare ourselves to grow. And I think that's the formula: prepare and then grow. And if something doesn't work, what can we reflect on? How could we change it? What might be tried differently? So I think as we kind of walk through this mindset conversation, that's the high level: fixed versus growth. Obviously, I promote a growth mindset. Are you coachable? Do you want to learn new things? Do you want to explore? And at a very simple level, are you curious? Do you practice curiosity on a daily basis? That is a growth mindset, just being curious. So let's talk now more about how our mindset really does matter in the outcomes in our life. Well, decisions, how you make decisions, what are your habits? What are your patterns? Are they helping you? Are they holding you back? That's part of your mindset. Um, so let me walk you through really briefly and at a high level on the science, not a deep level, but emotions drive habit formation. So there's some kind of a cue or a trigger that is an emotion that says, okay, when this happens and I experience this and I get this emotion, then I have a habit or a pattern that I fall into that I like, and then I can kind of predict what's going on and take action around that and then see what the outcome is. And I either reinforce that or I start to extinguish that. That's a very simple look at how habits are formed, but it's also a look into how we can transform habits. So patterns can become habits if they're reinforced. At some point in your life, every habit you have has been reinforced. It has rewarded you in some way. Even the ones that we don't think of as positive habits, like procrastination and avoidance and those kinds of things. But at some point, though, you've reinforced those. But those can change with the right attention to those habits. You can change those things. And that's an important part of creating the right mindset. And some call it a success mindset, some call it a winning mindset, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it a survival mindset. Um, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. But you have a choice. You can allow the world to create your mindset for you, which means you're almost always in reactive mode. You don't have a lot of autonomy, a lot of ability to change circumstances, to change your own mindset if you just tolerate it and allow it to happen. Um, when I work with leaders in organizations and they say, we need to change our culture, it's just not a good culture and there's toxicity and all of this. Where I start with, you get the culture you tolerate. So if you don't like what you're seeing in your culture, think of your mindset as your culture. If you don't like it, then don't tolerate it anymore. Change it. Do something to make a difference and be more intentional with your creation and design of your mindset. Intentionality is a very important concept here. So also creating that strong mindset will help you be more agile, more resilient. So what are the things that go into mindset? Well, we've talked about a few of them. There's emotional intelligence for sure. And that is huge in creating the right mindset because it gives you a set of skills where you can see the patterns, you can see the habits, you can see different things about yourself, self-awareness, self-regulation or self-management, self-direction or self-leadership. All of those things come out of emotional intelligence. The more you have those skills built up to be stronger, the more control you have over the mindset that you want to create or that you are living in. And the thing that will derail us more than anything are negative cycles of emotions, fear, frustration, judgment, things that keep us held down or held back. And we can break through those things, but we have to have the right mindset to do that and the right skills in place. So how do we create these mindset shifts? Well, the first thing is we need to develop that growth mindset. And that is very simply a commitment to practice curiosity, to learn new skills, to be open to other perspectives. You don't have to agree with everybody. That's important here. but you may learn something from other people that would be helpful. Feedback is an absolutely wonderful process to get insight into where you are. So go find people you trust to give you good feedback about your behaviors, the way you approach certain things, and take that and pull out the nuggets, the good things out of that, that you can then refine your mindset and create those mindset shifts that can be very critical to your long-term success and your satisfaction in life. It isn't just about succeeding at things. It's about, am I enjoying the journey along the way? So mindset shift starts with learning new skills, creating that growth mindset, that commitment to wanting to learn new things, and practicing curiosity. I learn new things every day from people I talk to. I get online, I do networking, I do a lot of different things that lets me listen to other people and their stories. I learn so much through that. And there are some really good things in the lessons that people have learned in their lives. Not just from YouTube videos like what I'm doing here, but from really talking to other people. And I highly encourage that. But be intentional with your mindset shifts. How do you know if you're going in the right direction? Well, it's unique to you. But here's what I would say. A really good check is check your deepest held values, beliefs, the standards that you live your life by, and then let that be a guard around how you intentionally create your mindset or do the mindset shifts that we're talking about. So emotional intelligence, habit transformation, what practices, what regular everyday practices do you put in place? Here's a couple of things to think about. 40 to 90% of our daily decisions and actions are done habitually. So without much thought of any kind. That's a huge number. Even if it's on the 40% side, that's a very, very large number. So if we have a correct mindset, a mindset that is unique to you, but works well for you, and you've intentionally designed that, created the mindset shifts that you need to and want to, then you're going to make better decisions and take actions more often that are in alignment with your long-term goals and what you want to achieve. That's a big part of this. Your beliefs, your values, your standards are a wonderful guide for creating the right mindset or shifting certain parts of your mindset and doing it intentionally. Another thing to think about, when you're working with other people, anywhere from 70 to 95% of them saying yes to you is based in emotional drivers. This is why emotional intelligence skills are critical to everybody today. And the advance of technology is actually making emotional intelligence skills more and more critical. So if we have those skills well developed, and how do you do that? Well, the way that I help people do that is I have what I call EQFIT Activate. It's a 6 to 8 week coaching program, but it starts with a robust package of assessments to figure out, where is your mindset right now? Where are your habits right now? What's your habit profile? What is your emotional intelligence skills? What scores do you have in emotional intelligence skills? Because you can't fix what you can't see. And we all have blind spots. And most of us don't have that kind of data to help us create the right mindset, the one that's going to work for us, not just in the short term, but in the long term. So when you think about this, think about that what do you want to activate? You have a lot of unrealized potential. I know a lot of people say, oh, I want to hear that thing about potential. But the reality is the average American worker only uses about 40% of their potential. That's all the way from C-suite down to entry level. Well, that's a lot of unrealized potential. If you want to unlock more of that unrealized potential, then do it through a process like my EQFIT Activate that shows you how to do that. And you can always reach out to me at eqfit.org, and I would be happy to have a conversation. Conversations don't cost anything. Have a great day, and I hope this helps.